Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Tending the Flag. Happy U.S. Open week. This one's going to be for all you crazy people who enjoy a good bloodbath in golf, and we're looking at one in Oakmont Country Club this weekend. It's going to be great. But before we get started talking about that, hello again and welcome. My name is PJ Kanojian, and I am from the wonderful city of Williamsburg, Virginia. And my co-host on the other side of the internet is Kevin Leonowich from a state that is considered the third most bike-friendly state in the United States. Good old Delaware. Kev, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. As a proud Delawarean and cyclist myself, I guess I can agree with that sentiment. There's some pretty good ones, especially down the beach. Not so much up where I am, but definitely down the beach.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't ride bikes.
There you go.
We have a lot of cycling trails around Williamsburg, though. Like it's a ton of them. Now, do people use them? No. But do we have a lot of cycling trails? Yeah, and I'm sure people use them. I shouldn't say they don't use them, but they do wind through some beautiful, wonderful places. And of course, I'm kissing a lot of behind with Williamsburg tonight because we have an awesome announcement. We recently started a partnership with Visit Williamsburg, which is basically the Williamsburg Tourism Board. So we're going to start collaborating with them on a couple things. They're going to be sharing things that we create as far as golf content and kind of just showing off what a cool golf destination Williamsburg is, in addition to all the history and busch gardens and all the outdoor activities we have. It's kind of a hidden gem for golf. We have some great courses, so yeah, looking forward to that partnership and officially kicking off today. So shouting out Visit Williamsburg if you want to check anything about this great area.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Whenever I go somewhere to look and play golf, I normally stumble upon either Golf Digest, golf.com, any of those websites that has like a top 100 ranking. And I normally check on like the top courses you can play in a state. And it's actually surprising out that way between Richmond and Williamsburg there. There's a good amount of courses that are in these lists pretty frequently. So it's a cool area that I'm really looking to explore and just get out and play some golf.
Yeah, Kings Mill shows up on the top 100 lists. They just had one of the NCAA tournaments there. Golden Horseshoe shows up on the top 100s. We got Royal New Kent, which is a really difficult test, but a lot of fun. Ford's Colony shows up on lists. Like Kiskiak is showing up on a bunch of lists. We don't have like a bad golf course out here. Everything I've played has been absolutely awesome. And again, speaking of playing, this week we're going to be having our newest play along video where I play a couple holes over at Ford's Colony. So that should be releasing. I'll probably get it out on Wednesday. Just give you something to watch after listening to our preview of the podcast and our preview of the U.S. Open. So yeah, cool things coming up on Horizon. Kev, I know you were working on a video, right?
I've been working on a couple little videos here and there, which unfortunately I'm just spreading my time out instead of focusing on one project. But yeah, I'm working on a little bit of playing myself or videos of the different golf courses around here, as well as a kind of course history video that there's a course that really piques my interest, and that I'm just going to leave it at that. And I'm gonna try to get a whole presentation together when I'm finished with it. But yeah, a lot of stuff being worked on. Unfortunately, I'm just not finishing it.
Yeah, we got our next course Chronicles coming up soon, and then we're gonna do the one that you were just talking about for our third course Chronicles, and we already even got the fourth one planned out. So we're well far ahead of everything. It's just a matter of getting it all done. But anyway, we're not here to talk about future plans. We are here to talk about the third major that is happening this weekend, the U.S. Open at Oakmont Country Club. And like I said in the intro, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. We go from the last major being the greatest field in golf to probably the toughest course in golf and the toughest tournament in golf. And there's not much that can be said about that you probably haven't seen already. I mean, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you listen to any of what these pros are talking about this week, just from practice rounds alone or previous history, and they will probably all unanimously say that it is the hardest golf course in the world. I've seen phrases like Mickey Mouse greens being thrown out here. I've seen PGA Tour pros hitting drivers in a par threes. I was watching earlier, the Brine Bros and Grant Horvath were doing their Make the Cut series, and those guys are, pitching out of the rough maybe 60 yards. It was crazy to watch some of the footage, and just imagine myself out there, because I don't think there's enough golf balls in my bag to play just because I'd lose them in the rough.
Oh yeah, ankle deep rough. I mean, and the way they cut the grass, they design it for the ball to fall down into that rough. So it's really penalizing. I was watching Bryson playing it on his channel today, and he shot. It was either even or +1 or -1, somewhere in there. But that's going to be a good barometer for what the players are going to shoot. They're predicting that the winner may be even par, maybe not even dip under par for this one.
Yeah, it's going to be quite the test. I mean, '07 and Hel Cabrera won it at 5 over, and I think they are just constantly trying to make this course harder and harder.
Yeah, and it's good. It's a good course, and if you like mayhem on the golf course and watching these guys struggle, that's great. If you want to see guys just bombing greens and putting up really good scores and shooting 20 under for the weekend, well, this isn't going to be the tournament for you, I don't think.
No, and know, I've been calling for this. I've been calling for the either I want to see him shoot 20 over or I want to see him shoot 20 under. I don't want any in betweens, and this is pushing the limits on the negative end here. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, because it's more of a competition, not just like man versus man, but this is truly a man versus golf course competition. So it's not going to be so much who beats the other guy. It's going to be who can beat the golf course and just kind of ride it out and play well and not. You can't make any mistakes. Like, you have to have consistently good play to be able to win this tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Also, you're gonna have to. You're playing against yourself in these conditions too, because if you get in a bad headspace, man, you're gonna fall right through the cracks.
Oh, yeah. And adding on top of that, too, it's going to be, they're calling for some rain this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. They got thunderstorms. They got some scattered thunderstorms up in the area. 69% chance on Saturday, 49% chance on Sunday for some rain. So that's going to play a little bit of havoc, too, if it starts raining up there. Now, of course, the greens will be a bit more receptive because they'll be softer, but imagine trying to hack through that rough while it's wet. It's tough enough to do it as it's dry, but imagine it being just drenched with rain. Forget it.
Yeah, Michael Kim put on Twitter, I think it was yesterday, that it's not necessarily the longest rough he's ever played in. He said, but like per, square inch, there's more grass per capita, or however he said it, that is just so thick and I mean, it's shag carpeting. It's awful.
Yeah, it's not even the longest rough they had for an Open there. I think it was, it might have been '07 where they had it to 7 inches, something like that. I forget what year it was, but at one point they have it at 7 inches. This year they have it at 5. So it's not the longest they've played out of, but I mean, Xander Schauffele had a great quote. He says, "I don't think people turn the TV on to watch some of the guys just hit like a 200-yard shot on the green. You know what I mean? I think they turn on the U.S. Open to see a guy shooting 8 over and suffer. That's part of the enjoyment of playing in the U.S. Open for viewers." And yeah, these guys are going to get frustrated. We've seen Shane Lowry throw some frustration this week. Rory shot an 81 in one of his practice rounds. Like, everybody is struggling, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, did you say Shane Lowry was getting upset?
Yeah, I mean, in other news, grass is green, sky is blue.
Grass is green, Oakmont's hard. Yeah. No, I mean, you're gonna see it. I feel there's another storyline we've covered quite a bit on this podcast: club throws, sprinklers broken. What are we gonna see here? Is somebody gonna collapse the walk bridge over 95 or the turnpike? I mean, not 95, the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Like what are we gonna see this week?
That's what we're gonna see. Somebody's just gonna take their entire bag and chuck it onto the turnpike. 15-car pile up on the turnpike. Not like that doesn't happen every day out there either, but
that would be brilliant.
That is such a cool thing on that course too. The turnpike going right through the middle of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I've driven that at least 10 times, and I don't think I've ever actually noticed it, which is the cool part. I mean, I know
No, you don't.
you're way below it, but like it is pretty cool.
Right, and that's just it. You don't notice it. Like, there's some courses that I've played where you are very aware of the road coming through, roads
Hmm.
next to it, driving by courses. But yeah, Oakmont, it you don't notice it. It's really crazy. It's a really unique design, and being an hour outside of Pittsburgh, the Turnpike gets used a lot down there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a golf course right down the road from me that literally runs along 95, and I mean, like, you can't help but to hear the car noises, the horns, and just the commotion. I mean, it's so obvious that it's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy, and it's an old course. I mean, 1903 is when it opened, and it's one of the oldest top-ranked golf courses in the U.S. And it became a National Historic Landmark in '87,
Hmm.
which is kind of cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, designed by Henry Founds. He had a crew of 150 men, a little over 24 mule teams to build Oakmont. But the crazy thing is, it's the only course he designed. So
Yeah.
it's like you build such a great course, and you're like, all right, cool, I'm done. I mean, this is an awesome course. I can't top this, so I'm retiring.
So I was hearing some pretty cool stories about Henry Founds and how he came to develop this golf course. He had no architecture experience whatsoever. He was a steel
Mm-hmm.
industry businessman. Grew up in Pittsburgh. Obviously, steel huge up there. Him and his brother had many different ventures out there, and one they actually had Andrew Carney. He came through and actually bought the company off of him. Um, but at one point, he was having vision issues and had a terminal heart disease. Um, so he kind of gave up the steel work and just decided to tour the UK and all their famous golf courses. Um, and then when he came back, he was kind of just like, "Hey, I want to build a golf course." But Founds was a really decorated amateur golfer. He won 8 Western Pennsylvania amateurs. He won the U.S. Amateur, I believe, at the Country Club in Brookline. All sorts of Pennsylvania awards for amateur golf. But in his mind, he wanted to build a golf course that was just hard and could test him. So that's why he built Oakmont. Like, nothing was a test for him, so he had to build his own.
That's insane.
It is.
Like, the dude, he's playing. What's it called? He's playing PGA with the course designer on it. Is what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, and
Like
not only
that's
that,
the original course designer.
yeah, not only that, I've heard of stories of him. He would sit on like the patio or the porch of the clubhouse, and as golfers were coming in from 18, he would find these spots where maybe they hit a drive offline, and somehow they were able to get up and down for par, or even get a birdie from the rough. And they're saying that if that happened, the next day there would be a bunker there. Like, he would go out and just dig a trench and fill it in, just because he heard people like having success from the rough. Like, just absolutely
See, and
mental
that's so
stuff.
cool.
Absolutely,
Yeah, that
mental.
is so cool to me. Like, I appreciate a difficult golf course, but I also get really frustrated on difficult golf courses. But I feel like Oakmont, I would just laugh it off because it's so hard to play. Like, that's the only thing you can do. You can't really get like too pissed off at yourself. But I think it's like mentally going into it, it's going to be really difficult. It is definitely above your pay grade as far as ability for any mere mortal like us. So it's just kind of throw your hands up, have fun with it. That's how I would view something like that.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a hard golf course, and then there's like unfair golf courses. This is kind of a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're talking about these greens are being some of the biggest greens that they'll see on tour this year, but they're also like more undulating than Augusta. Like, I don't remember who said it. I saw a quote that they were like, Augusta greens, they look, I mean, they don't look, they are. There's crazy slopes in Augusta greens, but there's also flat spots that you can get to. It's like Oakmont has bigger greens, but smaller flat spots. Like, these greens are just,
Mm-hmm.
they're miniature golf greens for the most part. And there's some really cool, unique shapes out there. Just, I don't know. I love that kind of thing. I don't like the straight line, circle greens. I love the fact that some of them are square. Some of them are, I think one is in the shape of an S. Like, I don't know. There's just some really cool architecture out there that is just so punishing.
Yeah, and it's designed to kick your ass, which was what I think makes it more fun. And I
Hmm.
heard, I forget who it was, but they were talking about it being, blue collar friendly, like in Pittsburgh. You go out there, you play for money after working at a steel mill, and you just get your ass whooped playing it. And I agree, it's very representative of Pittsburgh, where you have to grind, you have to work really, really hard to post a score with it. And it's a little deceiving, I think, because if you're just looking at pictures like from the top of it, or not really seeing the slope on some of these greens,
Hmm.
especially like the pitching of the fairways, you're like, oh, this isn't that hard. Okay, there's a couple bunkers here and there, but the holes, there's like no real dramatic dog legs. There's no trees practically on the course. They took those out in 2004 renovation, 1994. They took a lot of them out starting there. Um, it doesn't look that difficult just looking at pictures of it. So it kind of, I think it messes with your mind a little bit if you don't know what to expect.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. We said about Augusta, like cameras just don't do it justice for how hilly it is, or just
Mm-hmm.
how severe some of the slopes can be around there. You mentioned the bunkers on Oakmont. There are 175 on the current
Yeah.
iteration of Oakmont. There used to be 330, so at least they filled in half of them. But yeah, I did see that there was a lot of talk on the Twitters this week about the no Oakmont no Nokemont because all the
Noakmont.
trees are gone. Where do you stand on the trees on a golf course debate? Are you pro tree? You anti tree?
I'm pro tree for it if it makes sense. I don't want like a random freaking tree in the middle of a fairway just designed to piss you off. You know,
I
I like tree lined fairways, but the minute they start coming into like a fair play area, then it gets a little bit dicey for me. But I mean, Oakmont, I'm fine with that layout without there being trees. I can take them or leave them, but I do appreciate a good tree design course.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, some of these courses have like tree lined fairways, and that's their way of protecting the course, I guess.
Hmm.
With 150 bunkers, I guess trees aren't necessarily needed.
Oh yeah, you're fine protected there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I can recall exactly if these trees were ever actually like in the way. You know what I mean? Like if they were just in between the holes. I feel like I don't know. I feel like they weren't really overbearing on the golf course as it was. But it definitely
I
changes
mean,
the look of it.
they start like when it was originally built. It was built as a links course, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they added trees in the 50s and 60s. So it was kind of it was an addition. And like I said before, they took a lot of them out before the 94 Open. I'm looking with between 5,000 and 8,000 trees were eliminated during a 2007 renovation. So the trees weren't part of the original design, but the course has gone through so many different design changes over the years. The church pew bunkers on four used to be individual bunkers
Yeah.
and not set up like that. Like it's gone through a lot, and it's really cool with the recent design that they redesigned. They did they kind of did like a greatest hits of each hole being in an optimal shape and I guess the classic shape of what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's like a combination of all the best they had to offer as far as Oakmont, and that's what we're getting now. But yeah, I couldn't find too much on the trees being part of the original, um, like too much of the design. But again, with the changes over the years, I mean, 1940, the turnpike was just shoved right through the course. So
Yeah. Um,
yeah, they had a, but yeah, like with the tree thing, I don't like a tree plopped in the middle of the fairway just to make it difficult for you to have to go around it or play it a certain way. I'll use Golden Horseshoe as an example where I play a lot here, and the trees, it's a very fairly tree lined fairways, all of them, but it's not death if you go into the trees. There's enough space open that you could get out from there, and that's what I like. I don't like it when it's like automatic death once you get in the trees.
sure, sure. I understand that. I think I fall on the other side. Like I feel like trees are just they have their purpose. I mean, my favorite tree is probably the ghost tree at Sweetens Cove. I mean, and it sits right in the middle of the fairway, what 20 yards from the green, maybe.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I love a very strategic tree. I'm not a fan of like foresty trees on a golf course.
That's fair. Unless it's Spanish moss. I know you got a thing for Spanish
I have a
moss.
thing for Spanish moss. Yes, I do. Um,
Now, I'll say my favorite tree at Sweetens Cove was the one that had the mailbox with the liquor bottle in it. That was
oh man,
I enjoyed that.
I can't wait to go on a hunt for more. Um, let's walk it back to the church pew bunkers. I love how there's actually there's a purpose to why the church pews are there.
Hmm.
It's not just like, hey, look, we made something cool, and let's get pictures taken of it. Like, there's actually like the strips of grass, leave for harder lies. One
Yeah.
thing with Oakmont and all their bunkers is they're not like rounded. You watch all these tour events where they hit it in a bunker and they'll land it on the slope and it rolls back to like a collection area almost at the bottom. And it's like, no, the Oakmont bunkers are pretty flat. It can roll right up against the wall and like you got to go sideways or backwards. Like, I I love that from a bunker. We've talked about how hazards should be hazardous and punishing, and that sand traps are just too easy for the pros nowadays. Um,
Yeah.
so I love that. I love that they make it hard to play from the sand on this golf course.
Yeah, I was going to mention that they make it, they I found something here. It says the rakes were last used in U.S. Open competition in 1962 and were eliminated from the club altogether in '64. So it's what you get there.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's and I like that because yeah, we've said it many times where a lot of these pros will just aim for the bunker and then get up and down from there, and that's not how it should be at all. So again, tough, but I think a fair representation of golf right there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I, I'm gonna rewind the clocks a little bit here, and kind of
Okay.
not change subject, but we'll keep it on task for how hard the U.S. Opens have been. And we're gonna go back to 1974, and that's what they called the massacre at Wingfoot. I don't know if you know much about this, but one of my favorite quotes about the U.S. Open came from here. It was from a guy named Sandy Tatum. He was the chairman of the USGA competition committee back then. And his quote was the following: "We're not trying to humiliate the best players in the world. We're simply trying to identify who they are."
Mm-hmm.
Um, they, I saw a quote from the Wingfoot thing, and it was basically like Jack Nicklaus had the best opening round on Thursday at Wingfoot in 1974, and this came with him on the first green putting it off the green. Um, it was one of the first few opens where everybody was over par on the first day.
Hale Irwin, 7 over, won that one. 7 over was the
Mm-hmm.
winning score.
And that's not
Crazy.
and that wasn't unheard of before. I mean, Ben Hogan in '51 won at 7 over. I believe it was 1963 at the Country Club in Boston. 9 over made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's been hard previously, but this was the first one where they felt like the players just felt like, man, we got cheated, we got gypped. Like, this was like offensive, routing and course architecture here. But the big controversy, to tie it all into Oakmont, was that came the year after Johnny Miller shot 63 at Oakmont. So they felt that it was in direct response to the lowest round ever at a U.S. Open.
No, that's fair. I mean, the U.S. Open has typically been the most difficult major there is.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it is always the truest test of golf.
Yeah, and it should be like that because technically anybody can enter it. So you're trying to find just the best overall player in golf with this one.
Yeah, definitely. And to tie it back in, you full circle here. You mentioned that you would go into this course just saying, "Look, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna kick my ass."
Yeah.
So what? But again, it's not about you or I going out there thinking that we are the best. It's about the best showing that they are the best because they can, handle this course way better than people slightly below them. So again, we're not humiliating. We are finding out who is the best golfer this week.
Oh, that's fair. And speaking of the best, Scotty Scheffler, of course, overall favorite. Agree or disagree?
He has to be. He has to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's potential that we get, a Tiger-esque run of majors and events if he wins this week.
Yeah.
I think this is the one that either he runs away with it or the course allows other people to succeed. I'm not sure which one, but I see it being either way.
He's won 3 of his past 4 starts by a whopping 17 strokes combined over all of them.
Yeah.
Like he's playing ridiculously, and I'm gonna go with he's gonna run away with it, but not by typical running away with it standards. Like I think he's only gonna get it squeak by 1 or 2, but it's not gonna be that close, if that makes sense. I don't think anybody's gonna really like he's going to card a 1 over in the tournament, and he's going to make that look as easy as possible. But everybody's else is going to have to grind to pull up second and third place. If what I said makes sense. That's kind of how I see that going.
Well, I mean, we saw at the PGA Championship where John Rahm was battling back against Scotty, and I mean he battled. He even pulled even or level with him at one point. But as Scheffler, had a couple stroke leads, and Rahm only had a few holes left. Rahm tried pushing it, and he ended up finishing, I think, 5 over for the last 3 holes. Now picture Oakmont instead of Quail Hollow, and a guy trying to push to make birdie instead of make par, because I think that's what this week's going to be, is like par is a great score. But if you find yourself chasing a guy, especially a guy like Scotty Scheffler, like you're going to feel the need to make birdie on these holes, and I mean, you're going to be looking at some big numbers.
You can't do it. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Like, as you said, shake and driver on par 3s. I mean, you have to be in control of your game at all time and just really trust the process on this one, and accept that par is going to be good. Maybe even bogey on some of these holes is going to be acceptable, and not try to fight. So that's why I'm saying Scotty's going to win, because he has that mentality. Like he knows basically that his shit don't stink. And he's got the accuracy, he's got the iron play, he can get out, like he's got a complete, well-rounded, full game going on right now. And he just, as long as he plays his game, everybody else is going to have to catch up. And that catch-up game is just, it's not doable, not at Oakmont.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say ever, but Scotty Scheffler is the best at playing, and not to be, offensive or slight at him, but of just playing boring golf. Like, he's so good at finding the safe spot in the fairway. He's so good at just picking the middle of the green when he has to pick the middle of the green. Like, he has no problem saying, I'll put it a 40 feet and 2-putt from there.
No, and that's what you need at Oakmont. He's plus 270 to win.
I mean, that's the number
After him comes Bryson. No, I'm not touching that one either. After him comes Bryson at plus 650. So there's clearly a big gap for that. We also got Rory, Colin, and John Rahm kind of rounding out the top 5 as far as what the analysts say. Rory, I don't like him. I don't really like him at all this week. I mean, he missed the RBC Canadian Open. He hit 13 of 28 fairways in 2 rounds. He's really been struggling since he had to switch to the new driver. He missed the cut in his last start at Oakmont. I don't like him this week. I really don't.
I'm pretty sure he took that new driver out of the bag last week.
Yeah.
It's not going to be great. You can get Rory to miss the cut at plus 235.
Yeah, and that's fair. Like I'm not going to bet on him to make or miss this week. Not at all.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, he's too far over the place. John Rahm's on fire. I like John Rahm for a top 10. Of course, he's been racking up top 10s like crazy. Although, did you see the quote he said about all his top 10s?
No.
He said, I don't have it in front of me, but he said something basically like, yeah, it's easier to make top 10s when you have a smaller field. If it was the actual PGA field, I'd be in probably top 30 every week.
That's hilarious. At least someone finally admitted to it.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know. I'll kind of go off on a sidebar about Liv. And they're it's still professional golf. It's still the best golfers in the world. I don't know why everybody is saying these guys can't hang, you know? But that's another discussion for another day. Finishing top 10 as consistently as Rahm has is still really, really freaking impressive.
Yeah, no. And he's a guy, again, in all these majors, he is always there. Um, except for Augusta a couple years ago. And I don't want to say I called him missing the cut the year, but I called him missing the cut the year. But yeah, no, he's been, I guess Bryson is probably number one, but he's definitely number two when it comes to, major performances from the guys from Live. I feel like a lot of the guys are, in the sunset of their careers, and, they just can't handle it. Phil Mickelson's going for the Grand Slam. It might be his last chance to get it. I just don't think he's going to be able to handle this course.
I don't have him making the cut. Not at
Yeah.
all. I think that's a safe bet for that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he was in the running last week, but yeah, that's going to be a tough ask for him.
I'll give you a guy who I think is going to place very well, just because he's been on a top, like a really hot streak. 4-time winner in Live Golf this year, Joaquin Niemann.
Ooh, Joaquin
World
Niemann.
number one, Joaquin Niemann.
World number one. Just got, his first top 10 at Quail Hollow.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I mean, he's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I'll put him in the conversation. I don't know if he's going to have the staying power to make it all the way through Sunday, but I think Saturday we'll still be talking about him being relatively close to contention.
I can see it. I'm eyeing in on one Sepp Straka.
Okay,
2 wins
like
already this year. He's a big, strokes gain approach and pretty good off the tee. So I'm gonna lean towards him again. Just a guy that's been hot. He's got 2 wins, like I said, on the year, 5 top 10s.
Yeah, 68.5% fairways. I mean, that's about as good as you can get.
Yeah. So I'm gonna lean towards him. Maybe not to win, but I think a good finish for him.
Yeah. I'll give you a random name that I heard somebody bring up with Corey Connors.
Corey Connors, sure.
68.8% fairways and 70% greens. And his putting's great.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm going to put him, I'll put him in the top 15.
Yeah, Shane Lowry's a guy that held the lead at Oakmont the last time the Open was there. So I could see him pulling something out. I don't know. I don't know who else really is just that consistent.
That's what it is. You need the most consistent drivers to be there. Like
guys like Spieth or Justin Thomas, like they are all over the map sometimes.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna keep talking about Augusta, but like those guys were, I think one point I might have texted you and just been like, this might be one of the greatest scrambling rounds ever because I have no clue how they're under par.
Yeah. Johnny Vegas.
Johnny Vegas.
Johnny Vegas.
All right.
Not making a cut.
No. How about a guy like Patrick Reed?
No, he's not making it.
Uh,
Patrick Reed.
He's another guy, man. He hangs around leaderboards.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll give him a made cut. That's what I'll give him.
There you go. I mean,
I can't really give him more than that. Yeah, I can't. I just can't do it. Can't give him much more than that.
That's
but I think the safe bet, if you do want to be crazy and bet a winner in this tournament, is going to be Scotty. No doubt. Just the way he's been playing is, he's insane.
Yeah, I mean,
and
just a strict numbers guy though, like plus 270 just isn't it for me. I'm gonna back off that. I don't know. It's another one. Can Bryson prove himself? Can he repeat after Pinehurst? I don't know.
If his driver's consistent, I think he's the only one who has a shot at it. Like, it's not a 1A, 1B situation. I think it's a clear 1-2, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're paired in the final round.
Yeah, I mean,
at all.
Just look at his year so far in the majors. His driver hasn't been the problem. And I feel like if you're going to struggle with something, you might as well struggle with your irons here.
And Bryson even said He said, I think everybody knows this is probably the toughest golf course in the world right now. You have to hit fairways. You have to hit greens. You have to two-putt, worst case scenario. When you got those putts inside 10 feet, you've got to make them. It's a great test of golf. So he's very aware of the difficulties coming in here, just like all these guys are. But, yeah, it's going to be, again, like I said before, I think it's going to be like a 1 over versus 3 over for second place situation. But it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm looking forward to the carnage.
Oh yeah. I'm just I'm just laughing about how bad Phil's going to do. I feel so bad for him too. I wanted him to get the career Grand Slam. Like I really do. I really, really do. But man, I think that's just passed him by, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm with you, dude. Like, I feel bad saying it, because
I hate saying it. I hate myself.
It is a player that I love to watch as a kid. But yeah, dude. Speaking of Phil and watching him as a kid, the flop shot he hit this weekend was just pure Phil,
sick,
pure Phil hitting it
absolutely sick
over his shoulder. Like, oh my god.
I almost went up for that too, because that was probably about 2.5 hours from where I live. So I almost went up there.
Live Virginia there.
Yeah, but I had other stuff going on this weekend, but yeah, it was tempting. But yeah, man, I can't. Sorry, Phil, love you, buddy, but I can't. It sucks.
Yeah,
sad.
What? It's an end of an era.
Yeah, other guys who aren't going to be winning the Open this week, or the U.S. Open, is Sergio Garcia.
Missed it by a stroke.
Missed it by a stroke. Oh. Sad.
That is.
But
makes me
now
sad.
going back to people who actually have like possible chances, I will say if Rory can get his driver under control, he'll be okay. I'll give him top 10 for that. But yeah, the way he's going right now, he shot an 81 on one of his practice rounds at a scouting trip. He missed the cut the last time it was at Oakmont. So he really, really, really needs to get that driver under control for him to even be in the conversation.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just looking at numbers. Phil Mickelson plus 155 to make the cut.
Oh, I don't like that. No.
Wow. Hole-in-ones for the tournament, plus 128. Yes, that's almost even. That's
plus
crazy.
128?
That is crazy.
I don't know.
I'm not
if you're hitting drivers into par threes, I don't think anybody's
and,
dropping one.
And they're saying that's not the hardest par three on the course. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, here's a couple of other numbers I saw. Colin Morikawa, top 5, plus 500. Corey Connors, top 10, plus 500. I'll give you that one. Keegan Bradley, top 20, plus 250. I don't like Colin either. I don't like Colin plus 500 for a top 5. Like, he's accurate. Like, he really is. He has the accuracy. It's just the consistency.
I feel like
that's trouble with.
I feel like that's who's gonna win it this week, though. Are these guys that are just like, ho hum, don't do anything for you because they're not flashy. But yeah.
I don't know, or maybe I'm just still mad at Colin for wrecking my bet on the at the PGA.
Nothing's better than a hate watch, my man.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, though, I again, I think it's a done deal with Scotty. What's your, you got a favorite hole at Oakmont?
Man, I don't know if I have a favorite hole. I kind of look for like the nuances in some of the holes when it comes to favorite golf holes. I feel like I don't. It's the par 5. Shoot. 12?
The one that's like all curvy? Yeah, 12.
Yeah, it's 12. I would probably lean that way.
I was looking at that one. I like that design with the curviness and the bunkers all around the green.
I mean, the church pews are iconic. But yeah, I would probably give it to 12.
No, I'm in agreement there. I mean, I like 14 where it's practically an island green with the bunkers there. But yeah, I think I'd have to give it to 12 just because it looks like such a cool hole.
Yeah.
And again, with those little cutouts, it could drive you insane with it.
I mean, it's a par three. It's kind of cheesy to take a par three sometimes as your favorite hole, but like 13 just has the craziest. It kind of looks like Italy. Like it's kind of got like a squiggly little boot look to it, just surrounded by the bunkers, and there's a lot of just really cool holes out there, and different holes, and I think that's what makes what's gonna make Oakmont even more cool. 9 is pretty cool. I don't know if you saw this. 9 is like almost a square green, but the back of it, the back of 9 is like a practice putting area.
Yeah.
There was a video on Twitter I saw. I don't know who hit it, but like someone hit an approach shot into 9 and it went into one of the practice holes. And they were explaining like, yeah, no, they're actually holes there because that is the putting green. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, doesn't count.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those places where I don't think there's like a bad hole. Like I don't think there is, just because they're designed that way. And yeah, dude did a great job. Great job. And it's not just his original design. It's the fact that with every other, they put a lot of thought into every redesign. It's not just like, all right, we're going to do this here because it's the hot gimmick of the day, or we just want to make this kind of weird or interesting, blah, blah, blah. No, I really think that every design, especially the most recent one, they've put so much thought into it on how we can make it tough but fair.
Yeah, I agree.
Tough but unfair. But
and
tough but fair
that,
at the same time.
I love that renovation projects are like the new hot thing in golf. And it's not just like making courses harder, but it's kind of putting them, more true to what they used to be. And that's kind of what Gil Hans did in 2023. Reshaping the bunkers to what they kind of originally were, making the greens bigger, but like still keeping them harder. I just think it's a great ode to what the course was, what it was supposed to be, and how it's modernized for today. I think I saw like when it opened in 1905 or whatever it was, that it opened at 6,400 yards, which is outlandish for back then. But yeah, like I feel like keeping it true to what it was is what makes these newer courses, the new redesigns, so just amusing. I appreciate it.
No, and I like that you said that it's kind of an ode to what it was. And I do like a lot of the redesigned courses are kind of going back through the archives and saying, all right, this was a great hole design for the first place. They changed it around, did this, that, and the other thing. What can we make it to look like the original? And I'm on board with that. I don't like a lot of the redesigns where they're just like, let's make this completely new and just make it really weird. No, I want to see like that classic hole made for a modern era. And that's, I think Oakmont has always had that staying power where it's been enough of an old school course, but it plays well to the modern era.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just going through a couple other numbers. Since 2016, they had a couple longer holes. Number 3 was 426. It's now 462. 5 was 382. Now it's 408. 11 was 379. Now it's 391. 14 was 358, and now it's 379. And 18 was 404, and now that's 502. That's courtesy of Greg Descharme on Twitter.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. I mean, you have a driver par 3, but not everything feels out of reach. Like it is playing very long, but it doesn't feel impossibly long for the most part. So I do appreciate that.
And that goes back to decision-making golf, too, that I like, where it's a par 3, you have to hit driver, but how many guys do you think are actually going to try to hit driver and instead just try to lay up in one putt?
Yeah, exactly. And with the way these fairways are playing, too, like, you don't have to hit a driver 320 carry. You can hit a 3-wood that's going to roll for 40 yards, and still put you in a position to at least have an iron in. You're not hitting, it's not like you're laying up for like 3-wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very like true to its original links golf setup. So I think it's gonna be a great tournament. go through a couple of the tee times. We have 7:29 on Thursday. Of course, we have Xander, Jose Luis Ballester, newest Live member, and Bryson going off.
He's going to be the one to piss off the bridge.
Yeah, he's going to piss in the Allegheny. That's what he's going to do.
In the Allegheny,
or you know what?
Turnpike.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to say, step it up and poop on the turnpike. Or better yet, just pull like a Delco crapper and just drop a deuce on the turnpike.
There's no Delco. That's the other side of Pennsylvania. Come on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd like to say it's the first time that would have ever happened on the turnpike, but it certainly is not. Yeah, so a couple... Trying to look when, I guess later in the day, we got Dr. Chipinski at 103 with JT and Brooks. 147, Joaquin Neiman goes off. Couple amateurs. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Tee times are available on the internet. I am too.
I'm lucky to have this week off of work with the school ending. However, I will be spending Thursday locked up for jury duty. So no phone, no TV. Well, they have TVs in there. The last time I had jury duty, I think we watched like The View for 8 hours. So maybe we can get some golf on those TVs. But yeah, I mean Friday.
Oh, there you go. 7:40 a.m. You got Rory, Justin Rose, and Shane Lowry. So that should be fun.
Let's see.
Jury duty, man, that's brutal. No, I have. I'll be watching it Thursday and Friday, but Saturday and Sunday I'll be at Warped Tour in DC. So looking forward to that and catching all the highlights when I get back and we do a recap show. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably get to watch a little bit of it when I'm just kind of taking a break from all the music and the mosh pits and the crowd surfing that I do because I'm crazy like that.
Nice. I'm going to send you a Twitter link right now. It's in the Discord.
Okay.
And it is the shot of the week, and it might be shot of the tournament.
Is this the 122?
Yeah, all right, you've seen it. Darn. I was hoping that you didn't see it. I sent it to literally everyone else in our golf group except for you, behind your back, hoping to surprise you. But I will explain, and I will retweet this tomorrow when we release the episode. But Zach Blair, who was a local qualifier to the Open this year, pretty cool. He's playing his practice rounds with Bryson. But on hole 1, from 122 yards out, he hits a putter.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's not a full swing putter. The backswing is maybe ankle high. He has a big follow-through, but he rolls it from 122 yards to, like, 5 feet. Like, exact distance to the pin. It's an incredible shot.
That's links golf right there, man. That is like textbook links golf. Imagine putting it, like you're basically hitting it to the wall in a baseball stadium with your putter, which is crazy.
That is crazy. That is crazy to think about that distance. Yeah. I mean, you're talking 360. But yeah, pretty cool to do. With the greens rolling at a 15, I heard like the run-up areas are running faster than most greens that the tour players play. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty special. But yeah, shout out.
Yeah, you're gonna see balls spinning off the fairway like crazy. It's gonna be, it's gonna be madness.
Shout out Andy Johnson from the Fried Egg, who had that video on Twitter.
It's a great video. But yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys can all enjoy it, and don't forget to comment on this episode what you thought of it. And of course, we're going to be doing our recap episode next week as well. But yeah, again, I've mentioned it 1,000 times. It's going to be madness. It's going to be mayhem. It's going to be golf for people who like to watch the best in the world struggle.
Yes.
And enjoy watching them look mortal and say, hey, maybe I could do this. Knowing full well you couldn't, because you're going to shoot like over 100 on Oakmont easily. But gives you a little bit of hope. But Kev, any final thoughts before we close this one out?
Yeah, let there be blood.
Yes.
Let's let it spill over. I have the winners this week at 3 over. I'm gonna go 3 over for the winning score.
I can't. I gotta go. I'm gonna go closer to even. I'm gonna say even. We might even get a -1 in there.
All right.
squeaking in there,
Let's
just because of the rain's going to make it more receptive. But
All right. Are you willing to take a gentleman's bet of even par or better? I'll take.
give me +1. Give me
right.
+1 or better.
I will give you +1 or better.
All right.
I'll
So you'll well, we'll put it at +1. You take the over. I'll take the under.
Yeah, sure. I will take
Okay.
over.
Is that fair?
Over +1.5 is what
Okay.
I will take, and I will happily buy you a 6-pack of Iron Brew, if somebody does better than 1 over.
Well, I don't know where we're gonna find a 6-pack of Iron Brew, but I will get you.
Iron.
No, you can't even find 4-packs or individuals, but we'll go. No, that's fair. We'll go. Let's go with just. We'll go with 4 Iron Brews. We'll put 4 Iron Brews on it.
We'll put some
I'm
Iron
fine
Brew
with
on
this.
the line.
Yeah, Scotland's best.
Ugh.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll take that bet. I think it's fair. I think it's going to stay really close to the even line. Just because if it was anybody other than Scotty and Bryson up top, I would say no. But it's Scotty, so I got my faith in him. Got Brews running on it, but I guess with that being said, that's going to wrap it up for this week for us. So hope you guys all enjoy the U.S. Open. We certainly will, and tune in next week when we do our recap episode of the madness and mayhem and insanity that was, or will be, the U.S. Open at this point.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But hey, don't forget to check out our social media pages. At Tending Flag on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. We did mention in the beginning of the episode that we got some great videos coming out there soon. We're going to have the newest playthrough out this week, which is going to be me at Ford's Colony. Kevin's working on a couple things. We're going to have our next trick shot video up as soon as you cook one up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I already got our next one planned after that, so that's going to be cool. So some great stuff coming up. We also have a brand new partnership that I mentioned before with Visit Williamsburg. So I would like to shout them out if you're looking for a trip up to the Williamsburg area or looking for somewhere to check out your next vacation and not sure where to go. Go to Visit Williamsburg and they'll tell you about all the great stuff we have going on up here. We got Busch Gardens. We got a lot of history. Our nation basically started here. The oldest country in the U.S., or the oldest college in the U.S., William and Mary. And on top of that, tons of great golf, which is going to be my part in this partnership of promoting. So looking forward to that soon. And yeah, Kev, you got anything else?
No, that's it. Happy watching. Hopefully the rains hold off and, Oakmont gets to cook. So I'm looking forward to an exciting weekend of golf, and everybody enjoy Father's Day. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh yes, sir. Happy Father's Day to you, sir. Oh, forgot to say that. So yeah, that'll do it for us this week anyway. So thank you guys for all tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and tell all your friends about it. And we will see you next week on the other side of a crazy U.S. Open. Take it easy, y'all.